Updates in the Andy Ngo case. Harmeet K. Dillon has announced she's basically going to be suing anybody involved, everybody that she can sue, and she has set up a legal fundraiser. Now, I believe the GoFundMe is around $150,000 for Andy personally. He appeared on CNN. Much credit to CNN for covering the story. I'm really surprised. Didn't think they would do it, but they did, and they had Andy on to talk about it. Fox News as well. And Andy says he's suffering cognitive issues after the attack, and that makes sense, especially considering he had a brain bleed. Seems like he's going to be okay for the most part, but there are going to be, it does look like he's experiencing lingering injuries and issues with his cognitive abilities. Excuse me, on the show, it was very obvious he was having trouble recalling and speaking clearly, so hopefully Andy will be okay, and that's why I said, look, you might think 150K is a lot of money. It is a lot of money, but not when you're dealing with a permanent injury, right? So if Andy is facing, cognitive issues, that could be lifelong. I assure you that money, that 150K is not going to be enough. But now we are seeing a fundraiser for legal issues. Perhaps this could help accommodate any other costs involved in medical care for the moving forward. So much thanks to everybody who supported Andy, who was viciously attacked. That money can go towards his immediate needs. But with this legal fund, Harmeet will be suing lots of people, maybe even the city, the police, the mayor, probably the people who attacked him. And that money from those suits might actually be what Andy needs in the long run. So let's read a little bit about this, and we've got some disinfo to debunk. Harmeet tweets, in response to many requests, a legal fund has been started to raise funds for a lawsuit against both private and public parties who contributed to the multiple assaults on Mr. Andy Ngo and others. This weekend in Portland, you may contribute here. If Portland's leadership unequally enforces the laws, put citizens in harm's way, and enable vicious assaults, they should answer in court. And the criminal gang Antifa that terrorizes regular Americans and journalists may also see its members sued, its leaders' assets at risk. No assets, you say? No matter. If they live in their parents' basements and are part of a vicious gang, let's hope their liability insurance is up to date. While local, state, federal law enforcement dally, private free speech lawyers intend to pursue justice in the courts. Litigation is expensive. Someone is funding the Antifa criminals. Those truck rentals, flyers, fiberglass knuckles, chemicals, communications, bail money don't come for free. Liberty lovers, please step up and contribute to make sure what happened to Mr. Andy Ngo won't happen again. Well, it will happen again, but at least you can still do something about it. So this is the Publius Lex. It's a campaign so far has raised one. Actually, let's refresh this and see where they're at so far, because this is relatively new. So they're at 1% of its goal, and I'm fighting a sneeze. Forgive me. They write, journalist Andy Ngo was brutally attacked by members of Antifa in Portland. We know that. The Portland Police Department refused to intervene and has arrested no one despite video evidence of the assaults. Now Andy is asking for your help in pursuing civil legal action against his attackers and anyone in the government who may be held accountable. Your tax-deductible contributions will directly bring the violent members of Antifa to justice and make sure that other members of the public are not assaulted in a similar manner with impunity in the future. And so Mayor Ted Wheeler has issued a statement. Ted Cruz has called on some kind of law enforcement or investigation into Ted Wheeler for allowing this stuff to happen. He's the mayor of Portland, by the way. Ted Cruz tweeted, to federal law enforcement, investigate and bring legal action against a mayor who has, for political reasons, ordered his police officers to let citizens be attacked by domestic terrorists. Ted Wheeler responded, Dear Ted Cruz, at least get your facts straight. I ordered no such thing. Could you divert some of those investigation dollars to something that would actually benefit American cities? Infrastructure, affordable housing, mental health services come to mind. Yes, I agree. Mental health services for people like Antifa. But Ted Wheeler did issue a longer statement, and it seems he actually tried to pass some of the blame onto the people who are expressing their free speech. Check this out. He tweeted, Portland has always been a beacon of free speech. We are proud of that history. Yeah, I don't think so. Always? Well, at least not recently. But in the last couple of years, I'll stand corrected. He goes on. But this is where I'm going to criticize him. But in the last couple of years, some have increasingly used their opportunity to exercise their First Amendment rights as an opportunity to incite violence. Who? When? How? You can't use your First Amendment rights to incite violence because incitement to violence is not protected by the First Amendment. This, in my opinion, is Ted Wheeler trying to blame the right-wing groups that are holding rallies for the violence bestowed upon them. Listen, when Patriot Prayer and the Proud Boys want to march around saying silly things, they're allowed to. Sorry, they are. They're not inciting anything by waving American flags and chanting for Trump. If Antifa shows up and then attacks them, it's Antifa's fault, period. Period. And I made this, I made this distinction clear back in like Berkeley with these ongoing fights where people would say like, oh, but the right-wing groups are coming to these communities. So what? They're allowed to. You can't say, listen, if Antifa doesn't show up, there's no violence. It's just like, if the Proud Boys, that's what I told people. Listen, if the Proud Boys show up to your city to do a rally, you know what happens? They stand there, nothing. Then they go to a bar, get drunk, and go home. End of story. Who cares? Literally, who cares? Antifa, they're live action role playing some kind of la resistance against the machine. So they found a target to beat up and smear, and the media runs defense for them. When Ted Wheeler says they're using their First Amendment rights as an opportunity to incite violence, what he's really saying is, well, they should know better than to stand somewhere and talk about their feelings. He goes on. Over the weekend, some chose to engage in violence in Portland, which is unacceptable and will not be tolerated. Oh, please. This has been going on for how long? Years? What have you done? We stand against all forms of violence, regardless of someone's political leanings. Portland police officers have the unenviable task of keeping the peace. It's a difficult job, and hard decisions are made in real time. While we continue to learn more about what transpired over the weekend, we will keep you informed. We will do everything we can to make sure that those who have committed violence are held accountable. I really, really don't believe it. I think there will be some half-hearted, oh, here's what we're going to do, and no. I don't think they're going to do anything about it, and the problem will persist. Look, Portland is a fun place, and I've met some very, interestingly, when I was there a while ago. There's a lot of people in Portland who seem to know who I am and liked my work. I called Portland, Twitter in real life, the internet fight in real life, because you have these like moderates who are, these people are nuts. You have crazy far right and you have the crazy far left. Well, it's extreme in Portland. To put it very simply, it is politically extreme. And for that, I have no desire or intention to go to such a horrifying place. And I don't think Portland cares if I'm going to go there or not, but I won't. Why? Why would I want to go to a place where you have roving bands of black-clad individuals beating up gay Asian journalists? That sounds like one of the worst places in the country, seriously. You could go to an actual, there are racist parts of this country, straight up, where gay Asian journalists won't be physically attacked. It is worse in Portland than, say, the Deep South. And I only say the Deep South because people often claim that's where all the racists are. Fine. But guess what? You're more likely to be attacked by Antifa, apparently. But there is a really interesting phenomenon. I'll debunk the fake news in a second. I want to highlight this tweet from Benny. He says, one of these men wrote a self-congratulating book about how he and other journalists are being attacked in Trump's America. Yes, with naughty words. The other is a journalist who actually was physically attacked in America, not by Trump, but by people who hate Trump. Photos taken on the same day. Wow. You've got Jim Acosta, looks like he's on a plane or something, toasting himself with a big old smirk on his face, where he wrote a silly book where he was like, someone once gave me the middle finger. It's really funny. I don't know a single journalist who has had to hold a security briefing with security, with professional security, over attending a Trump rally indoors. I, as well as many others, have taken hostile environment awareness training, called a HEAT program, because urban conflict, Antifa specifically, will violently assault you. When I've done the hostile environment awareness training, they specifically talk about black bloc left-wing extremists. This is a known hazard for journalists. Rarely do you encounter far-right individuals who will attack the press. It happens. It is rare, however. When we do these trainings, they don't say, be worried about the Trump supporters. No. They tell you straight up, Trump supporters won't bother you at all. In fact, Trump supporters will ask for your help in getting the message out. Trump supporters are not far-right extremists. Far-right extremists may actually attack the press, though it is rare when they do. However, left-wing individuals will obstruct your camera, put signs in your face, throw things at you, and the far-left extremists will physically batter you. That's a fact when it comes to trainings. But let's talk about now let's debunk some fake news. Heather Heying highlighted how Antifa and far left, allies on media are doing simple CSS or HTML edits to change the story, take screenshots, and then make people, they say, look what really happened. Because here's what they do. They screenshot stories and share them because they don't want you to actually go and investigate yourself. There's a fake story here claiming that Andy Ngo staged the attack. Or this one. Here's the real headline. He was attacked. And then you have this one where apparently Robbie Sove, who of course didn't write this, claims that he hired Proud Boys to pose as Antifa. What they do is they simply inspect the story, change it, right? It's literally takes 2 seconds, screenshot it, and then share it, and now people are believing it. What happened after Portland? There's a far left activist account with a decent amount of followers who claimed Jack Posobiec tweeted that there was maybe cement in milkshakes, and then the police picked up the rumor and spread it. In fact, it was the other way around. Police officers witnessed what they believed to be cement being poured into milkshakes, and some people reported seeing it drying to look like quick dry cement to a certain in some capacity. That's what they believed, and the police reported it because quick dry cement has is alkaline and it can cause chemical burns. When it sets, it also can cause an exothermic burn, a heat burn. However, the sugar may prevent setting. At least that's what people are saying. The real concern is the chemical burn. Far left activists on Twitter are now inverting it. They're lying because they want people to believe the police are working with the far right. These people are disgusting. They're evil. What you're seeing here, this is what evil looks like. Tricking the ignorant into falling in line and following them because they want power. That is all they want. They are disgusting, insidious individuals who seek power to abuse it because they want to watch the world burn. Quite literally, the Joker from The Dark Knight. That's all they care about. They don't care about the world being a better place. They just want it to burn for fun. And you know how I know this? I've sat down and spoken to these people. I know many of these people dating back to Occupy Wall Street. I have been in some people's homes. Prominent far-left activists who are Antifa writers today, some of the journalists who write in defense of Antifa, have told me in no uncertain terms, isn't it fun just to stir things up and watch everything go crazy? That's actually what they told me. So I know their MO. They're insane people with insane motives and insane objectives, and they're defended by others who just want power, the grifters. I'll leave it there. We'll see what happens. Andy Ngo has a legal fund. They're going to be suing, and Harmeet is not pulling any punches. She said she's going to sue everyone she can. Everyone. I think that would satisfy a lot of people who are sick of the violence, so let me know what you think. Stick around. Next segment will be at 4 p.m. on the main channel, youtube.com/Timcast. It is a different channel from this one, and I will see you all there.